Hello YouTube, Ronan Kazi. What a disaster. I don't know what that is. Maybe I cut myself. Well YouTube, today's video is about Linux and gaming. Number one, second version. Number one, the only thing people use Windows for nowadays is gaming. There's very few programs are dedicated to Windows. In a business environment, there might be a specific old legacy program. We're not talking about that. We're talking about personal computers. People do things at home. You almost do everything through a web portal interface. So in that case, Linux is great. Number two, if you don't have the newest hardware in the world, Linux is going to be great. In general, if you have, that's Roxy, YouTube timeout. If you remember back in the day, there was Macy and Caesar were here, and Macy and Caesar are here visiting, and Roxy is freaking out. So, Guild Wars 2 is going in the background. It's a game I played on Windows. It easily is played on Linux through Steam. I'm playing, there's a brand new MMORPG. It's about like you're a swords person from China or whatever. Played that on my Legion Go. My Legion Go didn't have enough horsepower, so I'm going to play it on this new system I have here. But the point I want to get to is about Linux and gaming. If you go on the internet and you look about Linux, I hate to reduce everybody to fanboy, but there's a lot of people that really like Linux and like the fact that they use it. They want you to use it, and they want you to have a good experience. And so they try to tailor it so that, you know, only do this, only do that. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. If you have 500 gigabytes on your home computer, you're going to offload all your important files onto a USB drive. Backup. You should have been doing it anyways, YouTube. Number two, then you're going to delete all that stuff. So you have about 250 gigabytes for Windows and 250 gigabytes for Linux. On your Windows, you're going to go into disk management, and then you're going to reduce the size of the main partition. So then you're going to have, you know, 250 gigabytes Windows. There's a couple other, there's a boot partition. There might be a recovery partition, whatever. We don't care about those right now. You're not going to mess with those. You're just going to have about 250 gigabytes of free, non-allocated space. You're then going to download CachyOS from Cachy. Now, the one guy that I listened to said, don't download the handheld one. If you download the handheld one, guess what's going to happen? You're going to install it. It's not going to be exactly what you wanted. So you're going to have to redo the extra USB that you have that you're going to load that onto. You're just going to have to do it again. So this is just a lesson. You can do it right the first time. You can do half of it right. It doesn't matter. Roxy, please. I will squirt you. Okay. Sorry, YouTube. Let me find the squirt gun so I can squirt Roxy. Squirt, squirt, squirt. So, once you download the ISO from CachyOS, then you're going to download something called Rufus. And then using Rufus, you're going to plug in your blank USB into a USB port. You're going to find wherever you downloaded that. You should download it to downloads in general. You're going to tell Rufus to use the ISO from downloads directory and put it on that USB. You can hit go, and it's going to, I'm going to erase the USB. Go ahead, erase USB, and then Cachy will be on that. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to reboot your computer. You're going to hit F2, F8, F12, or delete. One of those buttons is going to get you into your BIOS. Once you're into your BIOS, you're going to use your arrow keys and navigate to where you can disable your secure boot. Secure boot stops OS being loaded from a USB. You want to do that, so you want to disable it. Then you're also going to change the boot order Normally it's going to start on your hard drive, but you're going to say boot off the USB first. You'll navigate that. If you have a cell phone, you'll look up the instructions on the cell phone while you're looking at the computer. That's a tip. Once all that's done, you will restart the computer. The computer will boot off the USB. It will automatically, it'll pop up a screen. You can't read it. You'll hit enter or return. Then that will start CachyOS loading into memory. Once it loads into memory, you're going to want to find on the bottom your Wi-Fi and put in your Wi-Fi connection. So you should know your Wi-Fi password and what your Wi-Fi is called. And then you'll type that into the CachyOS. That's it. Then at that point, CachyOS will let you install. You'll hit install. It'll ask for you your place in the world, for your time zone, your keyboard, etc. Then eventually you'll get to the disk section. Remember when you created the disk, you have your regular Windows disk, and then you have that blank spot now, 250 gigabytes. You're going to select that blank 250 gigabytes and you say write it right there. You're going to hit more keys and it's going to eventually just say go. It's going to do it. It's going to ask you for a username. You're going to type in your username, whatever the name it is, but then you're going to type in your login. It's going to be your initials, hopefully, or something easy for you to remember, because you're going to type that a lot. That's going to be like your username. Then you're going to have a password. The password should be relatively, it's your home computer, so it should be relatively strong, because you don't want someone to come in and hack you. Guys, at that point, it's going to reboot. It's going to log you in. If you've used a handheld edition, it's going to boot into big screen Steam. You will know then, like the meme says, that's when so-and-so knew they had messed up. Other than that, you're going to boot in the desktop, and then you go from there. During all that part, there is a section that you could pick your window manager. This is probably the only part of Linux that I want you to do some research. I use KDE, but I use KDE because I also have a Mac, and I've changed how it works to make it work like a Mac. It looks like a Mac. You can pick any of these window managers to make it look like Windows 95, Windows 98, Windows 2000, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10. You can make it however you want. You can make it look like a Mac. You can make your own creations, whatever you want to do. You'll get a point to pick that. Usually people pick KDE or Genome, or there's Enlightenment. Okay, why am I not using Mint? You can use Mint. If you want to use Mint, use Mint. If you want to use Ubuntu, use Ubuntu. But Ronan, why did you use Cachy? Because once I load up Cachy, it has a little helper screen, and it says add stuff to play games. You click one button, it loads it all for you. I like it because it updates really frequently, and so I control that. So I boot up into it, and I update the system. Now, in some of these videos you see online, the fanboy people say, well, it's too... Doesn't matter, because you've been coming from Windows, which is like the worst version of all of it, right? So whatever version of Linux you have is going to be pretty much better. Unless you get one of those all text-based ones. Then you're probably a serial killer. So don't come to my town. Okay. Probably not even allowed to say that word. So I'm playing Guild Wars 2. That's a game that I can play in Windows. It loaded up, and I loaded up through Steam, and it's just nothing. It just works. Fun fact, if you already have a Guild Wars 2 account, you want to add it as a non-Steam game so you can then just load it up off your existing account. Otherwise, it creates a new account based on your Steam for the username and all that stuff. And there's no way to get out of that, so you're going to have to do this anyways. But Ronan, what about, you do all this stuff on browsers anyways, it doesn't matter. But I like this browser. It has almost all the browsers. It doesn't have Chrome, it has a thing called Chromium. Chrome's based off this Chromium, which is the open source version of that. It's not hard to do. On the little mini PC I bought, it has a MediaTek Bluetooth Wi-Fi card. There's no drivers for it on Cachy, and it's hard to get the drivers because MediaTek won't share the drivers, so I bought a new driver card. On this bare bones PC, I had to add the memory, so it's really nothing for me to plug into the same type of slot I slid in my hard drives. But my mom, then you're doing all that for your mom, and you're making it, your mom doesn't need to know how to put in a SATA. She doesn't need to know the difference between SATA 6 and an Oculus port. She doesn't need to know that. She just needs her stuff to work. For the nerds of us, the people that like that's your hobby, it's good for you to know. But stop making it a barrier for everyone else to get into Linux because it's your hobby, because you want them to have the same level of priesthood or nunhood that you have. They don't need that. They just need it to work. You're like a guy or woman, you're like a person that likes to make highways. The rest of us just want to drive on them. And that's what everyone wants to do. And if they can play games, then they're set. A lot of the things you're going to see about Linux, it's either too simple or too complex. It's because the people doing it are tech people, and they're great at tech. What they're not great at is interfacing with people. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in tech. They'd be in charge of phone support with all the tech people, and they'd constantly have them in their offices taking them to lunch. You need to be nicer to people. There's a certain level that you'll find. What necessity is the mother of all invention? When you want to do something, you'll figure out what the solution is. Like I figured out. Could I have done more research? I eventually pulled the trigger. I went on YouTube and had 3 reviews. The first 2 were horrible by people I didn't know. The last one was by someone that I knew, and it was an okay review. One of the guys said, "This is the noisiest computer ever." Not at all. I downclocked it so it doesn't go over like 25 or 30 watts. It goes up to 65 normally. So if you ever see that it's struggling, I have 64 gigabytes. So I gave the graphics card 16 gigs so it never runs out of memory. Right? And so in some of the games, it will go up to 8, 9, 10 gigs. Maybe it shouldn't, but I have enough memory. I scavenge that from an old PC. You can do all this on the cheap, but you shouldn't be in Windows in 2026. You shouldn't. When I add a program, I have to type my password in each time. That's fantastic, because YouTube, if something wants to load the program and it has to queue you for your password and you didn't want to load the program, you don't have to load the program. And those what are called fanboys or nerds of Linux, they would tell you all the other reasons why. But at the end of the day, if it runs a game, then who cares? And if you're a serious gamer, shouldn't you be on a PlayStation or an Xbox dedicated? I game on a PC because I like to use it on different types of PCs. And I just think laptops are portable, and I've gamed on those. Now they have the handhelds that are portable, and I guess Xbox has the Xbox Alley. The Xbox Alley X, by the way, I would say get it. It has am I almost out of time? Yeah, I'm almost out of time. It looks like I should be out of time. I'm almost out of time. So I'll cut it short there, YouTube, but go to Linux. You should change now. Ronan Kazi out.